Abby's View. Like I was saying last week, to watch Belle in her hunt of moles was a thing of beauty. She would be in the yard minding her own business, high-stepping as she always did. Belle did not move like other dogs. In fact, she did not move like any other creature I have ever seen. Every step, every turn, every pause, every motion was filled with an energy that not only could be seen, but felt as well. Once again, I find myself not really being able to express what I mean. Every singular motion Belle made was like an explosion. Do you remember isometrics? It was an exercise that Dan told me about that they did when they were kids in school. You were supposed to tense up all your muscles as much as you could, and even if you didn't move, you almost quivered because of the tension. That is not exactly accurate. Maybe her moves are more like what a martial artist do when they move slowly and then have a burst of energy at the last moment. I don't mean to say that she moved slowly because she seldom did, but you could see the dynamic in even her slightest of shifts. I know I'm not saying it right, and I don't know how to get the right words in the right order so you can understand as well. I can picture her moving like she is right in front of me, but I cannot do justice to her motion. Let me go on with my story before I forget everything I wanted to say. Belle would be moving along, and instantly she would perk up. She would drop her head and stare at the ground. Sometimes you would see her shift ever so slightly one way then the next. She would begin to wriggle her butt and lower her front half until her chest was almost touching the ground. Meanwhile, her ears would almost stick straight out from her body. Suddenly, she would stop moving altogether. I don't think she would even breathe. The stillness was uncanny, and she would remain that way for some time. Out of the stillness and the quiet, the beast that was Belle would rise up on her hindquarters. With the fullness of her weight and her strength, and with all the physical potential that could be drawn from the foundations of the world itself, she would strike the ground with both her paws. Here I go using a movie again to help me explain. Remember in Jurassic Park when the T-Rex was stomping around and the rings began to form in the glass of water? Such was Belle's fervor that the ground itself reverberated with her force. She would go all still again, and the heavens took a sigh of relief. It was at this point that it seemed like all the neighborhood waited with bated breath to see what her next move might be. Typically, one of three things would happen. 1, she would gather herself like nothing happened and begin high-stepping around the yard again. 2, she would rear up once again and stomp the ground with even more potency than the first time, if that is even possible. 3, and if she went into this move, I would go to a different part of the yard. She would begin to dig furiously. She could dig a deep hole within what seemed like seconds, and she never dug for naught. Alas, Belle is no longer with us, and we have a lot of moles.